the two blood moons last year. Set your clocks now. It is happening again. This time on Saturday, but you won't have a lot of time. You got to be ready for this one. NASA predicts it'll only last 5 minutes, making it the shortest lunar eclipse of the century.
Really early this morning in the western part of the country, maybe you saw this amazing sight right here behind me. The early stages of a rare total eclipse of the moon.
An incredible sight. Watch as the moon sweeps across the Los Angeles skyline this morning. That moon turning so-called blood red, and then, as if Hollywood magic, back to white as the city awakes. If you missed it, the last one of this year is expected September 28th.
Switzerland today, news of a nuclear deal. The United States and 5 other nations say they have achieved a political framework for a final agreement with Iran.
As President and Commander-in-Chief, I have no greater responsibility than the security of the American people. And I am convinced that if this framework leads to a final comprehensive deal, it will make our country, our allies, and our world safer.
Death toll this morning from a terror attack on a Kenyan college stands at 147 people. Scenes of panic overtook Garissa University.
At least 5 masked gunmen stormed the Garissa University at first light on Thursday. People fled in all directions. Students described how the men marched from room to room, demanding to know if those inside were Christian or Muslim. Christians were shot on the spot.
Now, the world's biggest and most powerful atom-smashing machine, if we can put it like that, has been switched on again after a 2-year refit. It's already enabled scientists to find one particle they knew about but couldn't prove existed, the Higgs boson, and now it's getting ready to make history for a second time.
This is it, the Large Hadron Collider, a giant particle accelerator housed in 2 27-kilometre circular tunnels deep underground on the border between Switzerland and France. It's warming up for its next project, the search for dark matter, an invisible, undetectable material. Scientists know it exists, but they hope to learn a little bit more about its nature.
Some breaking and historic news out of California as Governor Jerry Brown has ordered mandatory water restrictions for the very first time in the state's history.
This is huge. You know the song California Dreamin'? Well, the people of California are dreaming about one thing: rain. When is it going to rain? 25% mandatory across the board cuts. This is unprecedented. I was raised in California. I've never seen anything even close to this, with 98% of the state in a state of drought.
To give you a sense of just how dire the drought is, we want to share some before and after photos with you. First, this is what Half Dome looked like back in March of 2011. You see blanketed here with snow, an awful lot of snow all around. However, this is what Half Dome looked like this March. Barely any snow at all, just bare rock.
Now, NASA is on edge as tomorrow a nearly 1,000-meter wide meteor is expected to skim past Earth, though it's not likely to make contact.
The story you first saw here on Action News: residents upset over dead fish found at a lake at Desert Shores.
People who live here say they are still finding dead fish floating to the top. It's been almost a week since residents here at Desert Shores voiced their concerns about massive amounts of dead fish floating on their waters.
And there's a lot of speculation amongst the residents as to what exactly is happening.
It's one of the worst die-offs of marine birds in history, and it's taking place along the west coast of the U.S. and Canada. Thousands of seabirds are dying, and scientists are trying to figure out why.
So far, volunteers have found around 8,000 carcasses of the blue-footed seabird called the Cassin's auklet along the coast from British Columbia down into Northern California. Scientists estimate as many as 100,000 auklets, most of them young, have died. The question is why?
And to the extreme weather in the heartland tonight, and new information coming in on the size and scope of those deadly tornadoes. One outside Tulsa, turns out it was an EF2, and that tornado in Moore, Oklahoma, in EF1. These were significant twisters. Terror as they touched down, and just listen to this.
Oh my God! Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, there it is, right there. It's right in front of us.
The tornadoes that swept Oklahoma lit power transformers like they were firecrackers.
David, we just had power flashes right in there.
The strongest had winds as high as 135 miles per hour. This is the path of last night's tornado. It's similar to the path taken by 4 major tornadoes in the past 16 years.
Now, Mexico's Colima volcano has sent a column of ash 3 kilometers into the air. The volcano, which is one of the most active in Mexico, stands between the border of Colima and Jalisco states, 690 kilometers west of Mexico City.
There's a new super termite that poses a serious threat to southwest Florida.
Researchers have discovered this hybrid pest on the east coast of Florida, and they say it's only a matter of time before it spreads out of control.
It's like something out of an Alfred Hitchcock movie, but instead of birds, this is a swarm of termites in Fort Lauderdale.
It was never reported like this.
He estimates 250 million of them doing something they've never done before in thousands of years.
Look at this, it's happening. You see these 2 here? 2 different species.
The 2 invasive species are mating, creating a hybrid so-called.
Around 24,000 people in the Philippines have been evacuated, with Typhoon Maysak a day away from potentially striking the country's northeast coast. Storm surges, flash floods, and landslides remain potential threats.
Out of Russia, these guys just standing on the side of a river taking some video, and all of a sudden there is a wall of something coming directly at them. And look how fast that bridge disappears. Anybody have any guesses as to what that is? We've seen things like this before, like a dust storm where you see that big wall of dust coming in, sometimes a summer shower, a downpour, you can see it moving in. This is neither of those. Guess what this is? Yeah, you see that stuff falling out of the sky? No, that's not volcanic ash. That is snow.
And to some frightening moments in the skies over Seattle. 2 separate planes struck by lightning as they tried to land during severe weather.
They are striking pictures. Not just 1, but 2 jets hit by lightning over Seattle. Last night's storm around the airport hit the jets as they were preparing to land.
Rubble and remains of his hometown, a high schooler in Moore, Oklahoma, came across a power pole that was split and hanging from the storm. Inspired by the image before him, he tweeted a picture of the site and called it "God is with us."